All right, what's up, everybody? This is your Market Inflections Monday weekly webinar here. It's Alex Bernal and myself, Sang Lucci. We're throwing out, you get a free trade here every single week when you come by. And we're also throwing out some of the best setups that we are seeing, have been seeing on, some larger moves taking place in the market. I would say in general, just giving a quick overview of where we are, things definitely started to stall out a little bit. You're seeing, you're seeing rotation into a couple names here and there, some large cap names. For example, the Baidu is definitely one of them. We talked about this on one of the previous webinars here. If you take a look at this weekly compression here on Baidu, basically it's just peeking out of this thing, So if you take a look at a name like a Baba, Baba is already at those all-time highs here. Baidu is definitely trailing. This weekly compression here is signaling a huge move just away from this particular consolidation. And by the way, like most of what we're seeing right now is compressions as well, because the market is such range bound, and we're all waiting for some signs of which names to go after. That Baidu on dips is an amazing name to go after. Just for selling dips. So you get a move like that last Friday where we gap down, you see a little bit of strength on this stuff. It's a perfect time to come in and start dip buying or selling some puts. I would even sell some outdated puts on this Baidu here. So if you guys want a couple of free trades here, June here, just go out of the money here, start selling some of these puts here. 180s, you can still get a buck for these things. So I love trades like this. I have plenty of trades like this on currently on Win, Netflix. What the hell else do I have it on? We sent out one today. Oh, we sent out one today on the price line. We sent out a sell put trade on the price line here, assuming this thing is going to come back into the fold here, and head back towards this opening range, just by gauging some of the strength on the Expedia here. So that's, in general here, you're seeing still the same names getting bid up, techs and stuff like that. Biotechs are still completely shit here. I guess we'll start off with the shittiest batch here. Let's just start off.
Yeah, they're stuck in the
XPI.
mud. Unfortunately, they're stuck in the mud.
Indeed.
We had a false start, but it's one of those things that the signal is right here. You can see the last time we had a compression, literally a month ago, and this moved, pretty good, enough to where any straddle would have made money. You could actually see 3 trades. You go back even to March. This compressed and went down. So from experience, what does this mean when you get this repetition of signal? Well, it means that what's going on is a higher time frame event. It's not really just a daily signal here. Chances are it's a weekly signal or it's somewhere in between, but that's when you get that repetition over and over again. The market is at a critical point. That's pretty that ETF. It just needs some catalyst to get it going.
Right. And similar to oil here, you're looking for just some kind of a push here, similar to even the market. I mean, that 10 handle, 15 handle gap down overnight was so much and so different as of the previous 2 weeks that everybody panicked. Everybody panicked, took the profits off the table, and you know how it goes. And now look at us. We're right back to where we started that whole damn move, like it never even happened. So these little washouts and these little algo sell programs, buy programs, they're coming back real quick, and they come back immediately here now. So if you take a look at this XPI, again, still in la-la land. I traded the IBB before. I didn't do too well on this one. I had a straddle on this one, this IBB. Let go of the put side, because this thing got up to around 300 bucks, and then just could never push through. So we're still waiting on these ones. Again, they're going to keep recompressing and recompressing as time goes on here. So
yeah, really, the play is to let this thing go. Don't try to catch this first move.
Exactly.
Let's let it choose a direction, and then we'll try to buy the first dip. That's really the way to go with this.
Exactly. So that's the IBB, XBI, and some of the biotechs here. Again, Gilead is still a complete piece of shit since we last had our several other webinars citing. When is Gilead going to change its MO here? Let's move on here and let's take a look at this Lennar. Lennar here being a home builder, we got a compression here on the daily. It's already kind of moving out of this, consolidation period. Alex, why don't you hook it up here?
Well, one of the things I think I briefly showed last week was there was a compression in the mid cap. Yep. And this is actually a part of the market I've had a tremendous amount of success with over the last year, is these mid-cap companies who are coming back from basically a rough 2016. They've cleaned up the balance sheets, and they have a lot more room to the upside than, say, your giant tech firms. Mm-hmm. They have room to improve. So Lennar, you could actually see the last time it compressed was in February. This already has had a nice move. Again, this one was one I like to feature because it's one of my favorite kind of setups where you get a compression near a 52-week high. It's just basically a consolidation at a point where if it gets up and over the most recent high, it's just got tons of room to run to the upside. You see Toll Brothers, D.H. Horton, all of the whole group is pretty strong. So a lot of the names that I have here for you guys as possible ideas are all kind of in that mid-cap area, like $1 billion, between $1 billion and $3 billion or something like that. And that's where when the market stalls out, the indexes stall out. That's because the mega caps are not moving anymore, right? Because they make up the most of the S&P. So where you're really going to get that movement is elsewhere.
Yeah, so these are all home builders, guys. These are all home builders here, and go follow suit with the financials here. XLF saw some pretty good buying today. Some folks going back for that 26 strike, but way out to like September and November. Again, the financials here continue to be, and just like Alex was saying, you get that rotation. You get that rotation sometimes. So some of these large cap banks here are just doing absolutely nothing. This Bank of America has been doing absolutely nothing, albeit pushing people to continue the move higher, while in other worlds, in the home building space and all that kind of stuff, you're having some names here do some damage here. You guys take a look at this Home Depot. This thing gets action every single day. We see people lighting up calls every single day on this Home Depot. So it's an interesting look there on the home builders. So check those ones out. What else we got? Why don't we throw in this DIA right here, considering it's a it's the big one.
Yeah, this is sort of the happening on the indexes, right? So, we're the Dow being one of the 5 sisters that we always watch. You could see the compressions that happened earlier this year, what the outcome was. So this is really a rinse and repeat of that situation where, you had multiple days and then you had a pretty big move. So again, we don't know which way it's going to break. It's not a non-directional predictor, but we stair-stepped higher and we consolidated, and now is the time to look at an actual trade here. We also, if you zoom out of this, the other one I wanted to also show was the Guggenheim S&P 500 equal weight. A lot of times this will be more sensitive to movement because it's not so, and it's on the left here, it's not so concentrated in just Apple. This actually gets rebalanced, I believe, quarterly or monthly.
I didn't even know this ETF existed. Until today, I did not know this ETF existed. Can you explain to us? This is an S&P ETF. So this thing tracks performance in the ETF, but what's different about this one?
All the Guggenheims, they have them for every single sector. They're equal weight to every stock that's in that sector. So when you look at the XLE, it's weighted to the market cap, right? So what these Guggenheims do is they equal weight each stock, and then they rebalance them, I believe, quarterly, if not monthly.
Interesting. Very interesting. You learn something new every day here. So again, you're getting a compression here on this particular index. I would give my 2 cents here on the DIA. Sometimes these consolidation periods, and this is the expertise that you're going to get with us and Turning Point Signals. I'll drop a link there for you in a minute. But again, with these consolidation periods, usually you'll get a range, right? And once this move is ready to happen, there's always going to be some massive shakeout. Okay, and if you think about this from a market maker perspective, right? You've got all these people here that are willing to buy calls from you at high premium. Okay, so you're the one selling all of these calls. You're selling all these calls out there. Say you're selling them all for $1. Now, This move happens here. All those calls are worth pennies, pennies on the dollar, nickels even. And who's the only one out there buying them? It's all the market makers that are sitting there buying them back from retail here who jumped the gun. And this is, again, this is the picturesque move here on these consolidation periods. You'll see the same thing here. You'll see a range here, everybody gets smoked out, and then the big move happens. Usually I find that these are the best trades. These are always the best trades for me, and it's finding where the shakeout happens and the immediate V-shaped recovery. You know, once that happens here, you get a solid move to either direction here, just depending on what's happening. And that's a great setup here, you know, and has been working for me for quite some time. And on that note here, again, that's something that you're going to get as far as expertise here. Again, not only do we bring you the signals here, but you're also going to get that expertise from myself and Alex, just being traders for as long as we have, and just being, you know, just watching these markets as long as we have here, waiting for the right time, you know, before you start really putting some risk out there. So again, go to marketinflections.com. I'll go ahead and drop the link here for you guys, and that way you can go ahead and check out these services there. Let's keep it moving. What do we got? What else we got here? Let's go to this THO. What do we got over here, Alex?
Yeah, so this is one of those kind of more unknown stocks that I like to focus on. Thor, they make Winnebagos. They're not Winnebago, but they make you know, RVs. Yep. And this thing was just on fire at the end of last year. So I've been just keeping this thing on my radar because, as you can see, it has the ability to move pretty well here. So, you know, just stocking a new trade, this is something that I wanted to just highlight. Some of these names that you might not see all the time. You know, if the market doesn't move here, we want to have a plan to be in some things that have a catalyst, you know.
Right. And guys, whenever you incur, and again, just to give you a little taste here in the options here. Whenever you throw out, you know, a stock and it doesn't have weeklies, that's your first sign, number one, that chances are the liquidity is not going to be that high. And then also, when you look directly at the chain here, you can see just a couple of contracts here and there being traded. So you can easily see here, there's the open interest here is minimal. And if you go here to June's here, finally you're seeing some open interest here. Again, but the action is minimal. If you see the difference between your strike prices, if they're not $1 or let's say not, you know, 2.5 here, that's another sign here, another indication that you're not going to get that much liquidity. And then the biggest sign is your spread. You know, so let's say you go out to July here and try to play THO here for a breakout. You know, you're gonna have to be patient. These are spreads where you have to be patient. So let's say you buy the 100 call here. You know, you slap you slap a limit in the middle here, or slap it even close to the bid. Wait for some kind of a pullback. You know, but there's no rush to get into these things. And anybody who's got size here, if you're messing around with 100 lots or 200 lots in names like this, you know, market makers will see you coming right away here. So be careful here. You know, they love playing games with large paper that comes in, you know, to their spreads. Remember, all this shit is automated, so you're not, you know, you're just fighting a machine at that point. So, you know, try not to get too fancy with these things. Limit in between and wait and be patient. Watch how the spread moves after you throw your limit in there. Okay, so a little bit of options expertise for you guys. Let's take a look at this WBA. What do we got for this one on them?
I just thought this was interesting. You know, I always like to throw out some put writing or put spread strategies, and this one just had too good of a profile not to share. I mean, you got basically 5 signals or 4 signals back to back to back that have been pretty solid to either sell calls or sell puts. Again, there's you know, right now there's like a merger being blocked or something between Rite Aid and Boots. So that kind of stuff I like to look for when I'm writing puts, because there's some embedded risk in those things. And if you have a price structure to lean against, you can usually get some good juice. Disney in the lower left is also a good example of, you know, everybody was so pumped on the Star Wars and whatever else they're making, Toy Story 10, and, you know, here's your pullback in Disney if that's something that you're into.
Yeah, I'll pop that open in a second. So just going forward here with the WBA, I mean, again, you're getting that sort of extension signal to the downside. If you were to go ahead and sell some puts here, again, we take something that's a front month here, maybe a month out, 2 months out, depending on the signal here. Dailies, I usually like to do just 1 month out, and you can go far out. You can go far out, or you can go it depends on your risk. On your risk profile here, and you can get some decent premium here. So this is a good trade idea here as well. We got a couple questions here, guys. Anything that you want us to take a look at, just go ahead and hit us up. Disney here, Alex was just talking about here, just hit a bottom signal here. I noticed some of the other retailers and a lot of names here are hitting some bottoms here. As well, just alongside with this Disney here. So again, this is another great put trade, sell put spread kind of trade, and then wait for some dips here to continue the move higher here. So again, we love those trades at marketinflections.com. Go ahead and check out the site. Most of the trades actually that I have on are sell puts, are literally sell put spreads, and they're on names that are strong. You got the Win here, you got the Netflix, you got the Baba, you got the Baidus, you got the Amazons here, the Pricelines of the world. These things are all moving higher. This Microsoft here is still juicy. Visa here is another trade that I've been in and out quite often here. There's a lot of upside, I think, left in Visa. If you take a look at MasterCard, actually, this thing is even stronger than the Visa here. But both of these names, I think, are great here just to continue rolling and selling some put spreads once you get the pullback. That's the key, though, guys. That is the key. If you go ahead and run into some put spreads heavy, on some of these highs here, chances are, on that next pullback here, you're going to get stopped out, even though your trade is a great idea. So you got to go farther here. And wait for proper and prime execution. So keep that in mind. We got a couple of questions here on the CNC. I don't even know what the hell this thing is.
Yeah, I follow these pretty closely. All the it's their Medicaid healthcare providers. You got your CNC and your the other one I watch like a hawk is WellCare Plans and Molina Health. These are kind of in my wheelhouse. CNC just had like 100% increase in earnings since last year. Okay. So this is one of those stocks that you're not going to get huge moves, but to me it's broken out here again, compression near all-time high. This is one of those things that once it starts moving here, it's going to just truck on higher, at least in my view. This is a type of situation where it's called a CRT, and you'll learn this in our nomenclature, compression retest, where you get an initial move out of the hole from the compression, and the first pullback, this is something you'll see over and over again. This is where we want to take advantage of this signal. These signals are still valid, and they stay valid for quite some time in the future. So the first pullback is usually the best place to grab it as it goes higher. Another stock that's one I wanted to highlight today, it might not be that tradable through the options, but the PLCE. This is just an amazing barn burner of a company in a sector that is just a complete disaster. This PLCE is just very, very strong during the day. I'm looking at the flow and just kind of the order flow at the open, usually when you have the biggest blocks of trades, and this PLCE has just been on fire. So again, you're getting a pullback to a zone relatively close to the compression, and that's usually a good spot to try to, look at a place to entry.
This thing has been pretty volatile, huh? Look at this thing.
Oh, man,
124 down to 126. Look at this thing.
It's just baby clothes. All they sell is baby clothes, and the stock went from $50 basically last year or something to over 120. So it's
wow. And guys, these illiquid names too, and you can tell right away this thing doesn't have weeklies here. It trades, what is the average volume? It trades 1 million shares a day, which is nothing. Half a million to 1 million shares a day, that shit is nothing. Plus it's a $100 stock. So I mean, at this point it's obviously not as bad as a Chipotle. But again, it's super illiquid here. Not a lot of options traded. So you want to be able to get some time here on your options. Even if you're selling contracts too, make sure you spend some time with your spread, because no doubt it's going to be a widespread Be patient. Be patient. Okay, so that's your PLCE. We got some other questions here. Stephen Tavares asking about DIFUS. Again, I actually haven't even looked at DIFUS here. I usually just mess around with the Visa and the MasterCard here. And if you notice here, DIFUS here is kind of dying. Let's go ahead and pull up some DIFUS here while we talk about some of the other setups here that we have. We got some other questions here. Young is saying, missed the beginning. Did you go over the SPY? Let's go ahead and pull up DIFUS here, then we'll talk about the SPY. DIFUS here has a little bit of an extension down here, you know, and actually this was a pretty sweet move. I'm actually kind of pissed now that I'm looking at this. This is a serious compression here. You know what the issue is too is that if you're so jaded by looking at some of the other names, like let's say a Visa or a MasterCard, this is going to make you biased. Like a Visa, watching Visa and MasterCard would make you very biased to DIFUS here to the upside, considering it's just a credit card name. You know, but once you get that break, out of this period, you're just looking for these places. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for these places to go ahead and get super short here. You know, it's difficult to get these places though, because you want to know why? Is because down here you're going to want to short, and you're going to get smoked. And up here, you're going to be like, I don't know what to do, da 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 da. And again, these are all the emotions here that come along with trading, which we are here to help you out with. You know, we understand those emotions here. We bring a level of expertise here to the table where you can just follow some trades here. You can just follow some trades here, and you know, through the execution on those trades here, work on your own execution and work on getting better on your own execution. I mean, look at this drop here from DIFUS on this move. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't watch this one that much, but now I'm going to keep it on my radar. I don't even.
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't even look at this one very much.
Indeed. Thank you, Stephen, for throwing this out there. So DIFUS does have a little bit of an extension down here, so you know you can kind of come in here and start selling some puts. Again, this is a super weak name in a very bullish market. That would get me kind of scared anyway. So the most I would do with that, you know, down here is sell far out of the money put spreads. That's it. Would I take a call on a name like DIFUS with this? Definitely not. Clearly something's happening with this thing, and who knows what the hell it is. Let's see. Jeff Wilson is saying, missed the Baidu. Is this recorded? Absolutely, guys. This is all recorded and will be thrown up on the Twitter feeds. Go ahead and follow Market Inflections, or you can go ahead and follow Sang Lucci as well. It will be posted up there. CV is saying, did I sell any Bitcoin? So I want to short the shit out of it. I really want to short the shit out of it. I think you're going to get like a 200-point move down, you know, at some point. But again, like dips are going to be bought here in Bitcoin now that there's so many other people coming back into the table. Alex, we should actually get a Bitcoin chart and start running.
You know what? I can, but it would take me a minute. I have a Bloomberg terminal. And
I'm saying for next week and for us, for us alone. Let's get some charts here of the Bitcoin and start running some signals on those. That'll be good for everybody to see. I'm sure it'll be crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's see what else we got. Young said
the only last one is, you know, one of the really shining spots in the market right now with tremendously solid earnings is this Internet of Things chip sector. So it's been completely on my front radar, and anytime there's a, you know, stock in the top 25 in that whole sector, I really want to focus on that kind of stuff. So this CRUS, this Cirrus Logic, is among basically the top 5, you know, super growth Internet of Things stocks, that and Skyworks and some of the other ones. And NVIDIA, it's sort of in the same category as NVIDIA. They basically make or 90% of their revenue from iPhones. So this CRUS has a really solid catalyst here, and just keep an eye on it for, sometimes I see paper in the chat room, but it hasn't been in a while.
Yeah. Guys, update too on the chat room as well. Again, we're going to have our own Market Inflections instance with our own tools here that basically will have a track record, alerts that are currently up, trades that we're looking at, and interesting signals that we're looking at. So this will be up soon. Go ahead and get in now here. Just so you're in here before we do a official rollout. I'm sure actually we'll do some promos as well too, so feel free to wait for that as well. Again, go to marketinflections.com. These are going to be 2 to 3 trades a week, you know, based off some of the stuff that we're showing you right here. And basically you're going to get an equity strategy on them, an option strategy, also a short writing option strategy as well. You know, so we'll dish out all that to you depending on if you are an equities trader. We got a future signal coming out as well. So futures are going to come out, and again, just the same types of patterns. You see this DIA on an ETF here. We'll have different futures such as the ES or the TF. Or GC here, or you know, gold here as well. So we'll start to trade that too. So if you guys are futures fanatics, which I know most of you guys are, you know, they're much easier to trade per se than equities, and especially options. So we got you covered there. So a lot of signals here, a lot of stuff coming out from Market Inflections and Sang Lucci here. Alex, anything you want to leave them with here before we head out? Actually, let's take Young's question here. Before Young said, "Did you go over the SPY?" We didn't go over the SPY, but Alex went ahead and found a nice compression here in DIA. You know, again, we're still seeing the range bounds in all the indexes here. Alex, why don't you give them a look here on the DIA as well as the SPY?
Yeah, I mean, despite what people are saying, you know, this is the top or this is the bottom or whatever they're imposing on the world, what we really focus on is quantitative edge. We know we have an edge right now. We know that the market should move. We are very confident that it's going to stop going in sideways in this range. Some of the key ones that I'm looking at are the Dow Jones and the S&P equal weight. So a lot of times in the SPY, when you get the Apples and the Microsofts taking up so much of the actual movement, you kind of have to look at the rest of the market. And so there's different ways to slice it up and whatnot. And so just from, you know, the previous signals we had in the, you know, S&P equal weight in the Dow Jones, it would suggest to me that we're going to break higher. But again, these are non-directional signals. You have to look at the flow going out of the signal to really get a better view of it. But to me, I don't know. I've seen different cycles in the market, and right now it's still bullish to me. There's still buyers on names that I think are risk on and growth, you know, growth stocks. So it's
absolutely. Absolutely, and Jim asked that question as well. Are you guys still bullish short-term on the SPY? You know, again, just gauging by my own expertise, watching a lot of these names trade, I agree here with Alex. However, the best way to trade all this stuff, especially these consolidation patterns or these compression signals, if you want to get in while these things are, you know, just kind of dancing around, is to play the straddle. Always play the straddle. As you can see on SPY, that compression worked really well. We hit those highs. You got a nice dip by here. So again, I still think you know, 100% here. Well, I don't want to throw out 100%.
Well, just blow this up. This is actually a good example. Blow this up real quick, and we can probably end it here. You could see back in February we had these compressions in early Feb. Yep. It moved up, and then we retested, right? So that's your CRT. It moved up, and then it retested. Now, we've basically done the same thing at this exact time. We've moved up, and then we're retested, and now we're going. So there's kind of a rule of thumb with these patterns is the second move is sometimes and more often than not larger than the first move out of the hole. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. You know, if you would cover the symbol and just say this is XYZ stock, I would have the same prognosis. So that's kind of where I'm at with this.
There you go. And guys, the rising tide lifts all boats here, all right? If the market rips to 245, and by the way, a lot of the options flow on the SPY has been pretty bullish. 243s are being bought, 245s are being bought, you know, towards the end of June here. So if we see 243, if we see 245 on SPY, you know, where the hell do you think Apple is going to be? Where do you think Amazon is going to be? Where do you think, you know, Microsoft is going to be? You know, so play and plan accordingly, and always watch the indexes here for, you know, your sentiment gauge. Again, guys, go to marketinflections.com. We do all this work for you, so you don't have to look at these charts. You don't have to look at any of this shit. If you do want to, though, we can do that for you as well. So if you go to marketinflections.com, there is a section there for the software where you can go ahead and check out and inquire about the actual software. Alex will go ahead and give you some.
Yeah, I do all the training. I do one-on-one training and group training. So, you know, if you guys get to that point where you want to basically put that inside your process, that's part of the deal.
There you go. And where most of you guys probably won't, simply because most of us are freaking lazy as shit. $250 here gets you 2 to 3 equity signals per week. You get an option strategy for that signal, email alerts, and access to a private Twitter feed. And again, we are going to make a chat room where all this is available inside the chat room, as well as the mobile chat room too. So we won't need the private Twitter feed. We won't need the email alerts. Everything just shoots right into the room, and you get a push notification on your phone as well whenever we're making trades. So that's where we're going. Hopefully you guys can join us. Again, go to marketinflections.com, check it out. And this is Alex and Lucci signing out. We'll see you guys next Monday.